Dutch youth volleyball, from mini to national youth level. This video is intended as an introduction to youth volleyball policy and training practice in the Netherlands. It shows the various phases that the young pass in their game development. It has been produced by the Netherlands Volleyball Association for parents, coaches and all interested in the development of the game. The different stages are distinguished by the training of basic skills, such as catching and throwing, and the learning of specific volleyball skills, such as the pass and the spike. Each stage is made up of training for one or more new skills, and repetition and improvement of those which have already been learned. The video does not provide instructions on correct technique. The Dutch Volleyball Association has chosen for a phased development because it gives the opportunity for players to play at their own level and continually be challenged by small steps forward. The technical director of the Dutch Volleyball Association, Mr. Peter Murphy, fully supports this model. The boys and girls in this video each play at their own level. Simple pleasure in the game is certainly not forgotten, and who knows, perhaps some talent from this group may one day wear the national team shirt. A club is best served by employing coaches with an educational qualification to start a volleyball playground. They can handle the sensitivities of the young well. The coach pays particular attention to basic skills such as climbing and body movement and control. Forward rolls, here on a soft mat. Backward rolls. Dribbling a ball through pins. And with throwing and catching, an introduction is made to typical volleyball movements. The play area is made up of a number of stations. At each one, the kids exercise a particular movement. After a time, the children choose another exercise. When they can reasonably easily catch a thrown ball with two hands, they go on to phase 2. All training, as far as possible, starts with a game and ends with a game. Here, the minis play the elephant game. Volleyball development for 7 to 8-year-olds takes place in most clubs in the Mini 2 phase. After an introductory game, training of basic skills starts. Of importance at this age is that children enjoy the challenge of movement. For children around 7 years old, catching a high ball is quite difficult. When this can be done, we continue with overhand and underhand skills. But faultless execution of volleyball movements is not important at this age. The minis play with the red trial ball, a soft volleyball that younger people find easier. The net is high, and children must learn to get the ball over. A game at the end should again be a part of things. In the Mini 2 phase, 2 against 2. Here, the ball can be caught. Here, the kids are playing fistball. In this way, they learn how to play with bent knees. In volleyball language, this is known as keeping low. Attention is also paid to basic skill by balancing on one bench and jumping to the other. Next, we continue with the sideways movement while playing the ball at the same time. Firstly overhand and then underhand. The coach adapts the exercises to the different children by varying the throws. The minis like to have a challenge. Next, they learn the underhand serve. Here, the mini stands with one foot on or over the back line. Serving hard is not possible because the ball then goes out. In the Mini 3A phase, the 8 to 9-year-old children are not yet up to real competition, although they enjoy games between themselves enormously. By playing a game of sit football, the 9 to 10-year-old minis become familiar with the floor, necessary to learn defensive skills. Next comes improvement of the jump. With feet together over a bench is sometimes not easy. The overhand and underhand skills that have been learned are developed further by throwing the ball forward, backwards and sideways. The greater the distance, the more difficult it is to play the ball back well. The coach now goes behind the net, by which the distance increases and it is more difficult to play the ball well. New is the overhand technique while jumping, using both two hands and one, the so-called tip ball. Later, in spiking, one will see why this technique is taught now. The children now start playing real competition, 3 against 3. Most local districts organize such a tournament once a month. Knocking down the opponent's pins, not easy and certainly exciting. And then you have to do it overhand with outstretched arm. This skill is used particularly in the overhand serve and the spike. The improvement of basic skills remains the key to training these 11 and 12-year-olds. Much body movement in every direction is necessary to play good mini volleyball. The minis are now physically so strong that the overhand serve, the tennis service, can be learned, with one foot on or over the line. The children have no problem with this special rule. When the tip ball and the tennis serve have been practiced, a start can be made with a spike. Spiking well is a challenge for anybody. In volleyball, there is nothing nicer than an exciting rally finished with a turbo spike. The net now only hangs at 2.5 meters, so learning the technique is easier. Mini volleyball 4 against 4 is an enjoyable game for both young players and an audience. At this level, tournaments are organized in many districts. The association organizes a Dutch tournament and a national championship for minis every year. The boys play steal the ball. When you are touched on the opponent's side, you're out and have to do 5 push-ups behind your own backline. The back setup is the new trick. Obviously, the boys continue to practice basic skills, but now with much more movement and more precision in the return. Through the floor defense, we continue with the setting player at the net and the back pass set as well as possible. Broad ability is necessary in volleyball. Difficult movements in defense are the sideward roll one-armed and the sideward roll two-armed. Volleyball training can be made extremely varied. Because the back set is practiced, the setting player can now choose between one attacker in front and one attacker behind. With the C group, everyone creates setups. Specialization is not allowed in the mini and youth C period. This is only used in a later phase of volleyball development. The young attack ever better. Only floor defense is not sufficient. Players have to learn to block. A one-man block, now in combination with an attack, is one of the many exercises. 13 to 14-year-olds play 6 against 6 on an adapted court, 9 meters wide and 7 meters deep. The move from mini volleyball to the large volleyball court is thus not so sudden. This results in many good rallies and enjoyable competitions. The volleyball is moving faster and faster. The defense is adapting ever better to attack with better technique. The forward slide or pancake is one such. Difficult to learn, but spectacular to watch. To learn how to defend even better, the coach increases the tempo and plays the balls further away. Then the knees bend, keep low, and move fast to get under the ball. From the standing setup, we also discover the jump set. In top volleyball, 9 of the 10 sets are created during a jump. Two attackers involve the coach in this exercise. The setting player can now choose to whom he gives the ball. And just as in every training, the players practice the new techniques learned. Sometimes the coach adds new things or combines exercises, such as setup, attack, and block. By means of a one-man block, the players continue on to learn a two-man block, at the start without a ball, in order to give maximum concentration to movement, play, arm position, and the landing. The players repeat the serve and passing to the setting player. The last training session is obviously a special, another look at whether we can apply what we have learned. Girls of 15 years of age are already well developed, but muscle strengthening exercises are necessary to be able to stand hard training and competitions. After basic training up to Youth C, the girls can now specialize in attack or setting. In this way, the setting player learns how to create various types of setup, while the attacker attempts to finish the setups with a spike. The ball is played over greater distances in jumping back or forward sets. Even these girls at this level can spike a ball from behind the 3-meter line. In defense, the tempo also increases. Spiked balls are hit harder and are thus more difficult to play. If this doesn't work in training, then it certainly won't work in competition. Consistency is a magic term in sport. Consistency is only achieved by training together constantly, such as here with serving and passing. These girls can now volleyball so well that a start can be made with learning combination attacks. Only at the very last moment is it clear which player is going to hit the ball. The attacking player attempts to prevent an opponent player making a good block. The girls train a wave attack in front of the setting player. A second variant is the cross attack in front of the setting player. The right forward crosses the center forward. During training, the team creates competition situations and combination attacks are done successfully. The girls demonstrate another form of muscle development. As long as only the weight of the body is used to develop muscles in the growth period, there is no danger of damage to muscles as long as the exercises are not forced. Practice, practice, and practice. Constant repetition is necessary to be able to play a ball well under all circumstances, such as here in a normal setup. Each time, the coach pushes players to achieve more in learning new skills, such as the setting player during a front roll or a difficult ball played back. At the same time, the setting player must watch both the movement of the attackers and the position of the blockers. It will be the attacker without a block who will get the ball. During the serve, the other girls train with passing to the setting player. Spiking is more than simply hitting a ball straight forward. The girls learn how to spike the ball out via a block touch and to smash crossways to the arrival direction, the so-called angle spike. There are hundreds of attack combinations in a coach's repertoire. The group changes to train for a wave and cross attack, but now in different positions at the net. Three blocking players complete the exercise so that a part of a competition can be trained hard. The traditional party ends an enjoyable, instructive and tiring training session. We are now at the highest level of youth volleyball. The boys have learned many skills that are repeatedly practiced during warming up. After this, specialization receives most attention. The timing of the back set is extremely difficult. If it can be done well, possible combinations increase. With a sharp set against and a good block, an attacker must succeed with a tip ball. And even though it looks like these boys have perfect technique, they are also constantly training the consistency of their basic techniques. If a pass is not well received by the setting player, good combinations are more difficult and the chance that the opponent scores rises. Team training is more important. Learning new skills is less frequent. Combination attacks under every circumstance is now the central point. The coach throws an extra ball on court to get more attention for a rally. This type of rally training increases concentration and condition. In a competition, the coach records the performance of the team. On the basis of these comments, he will give advice to players during timeouts. Back home, he will write up a detailed game analysis. This he will use to prepare the next training session. The coach discusses the game analysis with his team. This went well, that could have been better, and there we really made a mess. During training, he pays more attention to improving those things that do not work so well. In the next competition, the boys try to correct errors and play even better. Youth volleyball training for these youngsters is now as good as complete. Most boys and girls are now able to play in national competition, some at a very high level. All thanks to a professional, systematic and studied approach to training for the game of volleyball.